Yeah. 31 minutes.
Complement of cannons. It can
You're 595. Why don't you hang out, Dark Autumn? Why don't we run one? I don't know if I'm running more today, but why don't we run one this week? On the next time you're in, by all means, get in here. We can wipe together. Yeah, next time, if anybody wants to join a group and you figure you're capable or partially capable, that's fine. You're at 595, so it's decent. You would have been requirement. Yeah, on the next one. I just remember at 50%, we gotta go up in the air.
It's actually at 50 and at 1% you gotta fly up in the air.
Oh yeah, this thing.
Now this obsidian beam back, it used to kill me a lot. It wasn't necessarily not being able to stand with the rotating thing. I was always getting hit afterwards with a little burst damage. Now she's at 50%, so this is at darkness comes. You'll see the big AoE, you gotta fly off. You have that radiant light ability, which allows you skywriting during combat, so that ability allows us to do this. We got to get these orbs. I think it does damage when you get those orbs. I didn't get any there, but I do get some at the end, because she does it again at 1%. And it's basically a rinse and repeat. Now I know, these two portals, I don't stand in them, but honestly, I don't know what to do much more other than that. You know, and then here's that beam. I don't know if it's going to show you some damage after the fact. Very tight quarters there, though. We're avoiding this one. But yeah, I used to die all the time on that, even in the regular Mythic. So this is my Mythic 3. I'm actually putting up one, as you saw at the beginning, one of the my own keys. And I'll leave the spoiler alert for you at the end to see if we down it or not. But yeah, I've had a great week. Gearing this week. We finally crafted some bracers. I'm going to show you that coming up in the next few videos. I'm above the 600 here. I'm about 595. This is a few days ago, so this is a 1%. And I believe I get the final kill here. I think when you grab these, they do damage to her. So watch this when I hit, not that one, but this one. There we go. Winning. So we got that. And go and off to the next one.
Now, which way do we go?
I find this is a nightmare for groups to group up on this flight thing, so I think I'm going to start marking where I want us all to land as we're going down, as I get better at it. Because I've only run this maybe 1 or 2 times before I hit Mythic 3.
Is this one I got a tank to back to the wall? Because that's what I did last time. And I screwed up and they were mad at me and they kicked me, so that's how I learn.
Actually, looking back, I didn't get kicked, but I did have my back. I thought the wall was like to the right there, like behind, but there's actually mobs further up the stairs.
There we go. I know how to
And
play.
I accidentally bumped myself into that wall. And then one time, the first time that big AoE was on me.
Where's the next one?
I thought that I had to run out of it,
there?
but it followed me. So the nice thing with these 3 bosses, or these 3 mini bosses before the boss, is these effects teach you what the next boss is going to have, which I've always liked. Now this is the worst the worst pull ever, like where I landed and everything.
I'm going to mess this one up.
So see that little beam, like don't stand in that. And the other one, you know, they got the AoE, you don't want to deal with that. This we almost, I don't know if I did die in this pull or not, but it's a close one. I know I contributed to a lot of the deaths in this for sure. But it was my key and I am doing my best. And as it gets better, like
just pull 2 more.
For those who've been dropping by the stream, you know I've been hitting the stone vault and the
It was brutal.
what's the other one called?
That was the worst pull that could have happened here.
It is the worst pull that could happen. It was stone vault.
I used the lay hands there.
And the miss one. So I know those dungeons really well. And it's all repetition, right? And figuring out what to do. And I learned a lot from you guys here as an audience. Like those first 2 portals on the boat boss, I'm sure I'm going to see it in comments.
I can't believe I lived. I know 1 person died. We've got 3 deaths so far. Yeah, I've died once. I can't believe I lived there. Oh, brutal.
Anyways, this is the boss that they were training you for. to get those abilities so that you can see what's happening. This first ability, Dark Orb, basically shoots an orb, and so they're ranged. They want to step out of line of sight. Don't stand in that big purple thing. In fact, if you just want to... Okay, so this is at AoE, and see I have my back to the wall, and I can actually put my back the other way. The key is don't put your back into ads. And, you know, after this we start clearing ads, so if you wanted to clear ads beforehand, it probably wouldn't hurt. Because there is a phase where you just need to make sure that your percentage is high enough when you kill the final boss so that you can get your mythic loot and complete it in the time successful. I was almost thinking you should do it almost afterwards, but wrecked.
Oh, come on.
I'm always waiting to hit the respawn key anytime I die, if you got a B-res. That way I can pick up aggro and hopefully only have one death from that, not 2 or 3 or 5. It happens. Yeah, when the tank goes, so does a couple others sometimes follow.
We have 4
Sometimes.
deaths.
Sometimes the other group can carry you, and next thing you know, you're just sitting there dead watching them finish the boss off, which also helps sometimes. Yeah, I'm hoping you guys are liking this style of video where we're mixing the commentary after the fact, and you get to hear some of the live and what it's like to watch it live. I'm enjoying it also reviewing the bosses, because a lot of the bosses I go in not knowing what's happening. Some of the stuff you can kind of figure out, but me rereading the actual effects and producing these for you guys also helps me a lot for future tanking. I always feel like I do a lot better after I've figured out what's going on, 100%. And speaking of that, I've run the one thing I'm really enjoying is the gearing process, where you can gear through this, you can gear through delves, you can gear through world quests. It's been phenomenal. Ouch.
Get it. Got it. Oh, that was a rough one. We should clear some trash. Okay. For the percentage?
Yeah, and it's been such a fun expansion because of that.
I wish this guy would stop pulling more. I understand you're on a timer, but each death is 30 seconds, and then the aggro, got to pull it off. And I got to use it. I lay hands, and now I die.
Now, we wanted to talk a little bit more about that. Like, I went into the LFR this week, and because I was overgeared, none of the loot I needed anymore.
Yeah. You didn't die, but yeah.
Because I've been running Mythic pluses and also doing the delves.
Just saying. How many deaths have we had? 7? We got 8 minutes left. This is the last boss? No, it's second last. And then there's another one that's on the side of the ship, right?
So this is a mini boss, but I don't see it in the gear guide.
Others?
Like on any of his abilities or things like that. It looks like he's spread out at this point if you have those marks on you. This looks very similar to the other one, and move away from others. Yeah, I didn't see it in the little, the, what do they call it? The adventure guide that's built into WoW. So, but he's pretty easy. He's a little bit of face roll, but the other one, the other boss shows up right after him. I don't know if I pulled them closer away from the boss, if we'd have time to heal up or just reconfigure ourselves afterwards, because see, he drops here, and yeah, whether or not we're aggroing him, and yeah, so here I step right into his stuff. I should have stepped 2 steps right there. I got rooted, so I used my Blessing of Freedom. Now see that guy on the right who's targeted and puts the wave in the proper direction, basically away from the group, so that we don't all take the extra damage. These AoE, I just stood through it, and it didn't seem to do a lot of damage, so. Now during that AoE, I'm rewinding it here. Take a look at that guy, and he's got a barrel, and he chucks it at the head. That will explode upon the boss's head. So if you don't pick those up as range, and most likely DPS, a healer could do it as long as, everybody's topped up, but preferably, I would think, some sort of DPS.
Okay, we're getting.
But that will do damage to the boss. If anybody ignores it and they're around that when it goes, it's going to do damage to us. So it's best to pick those up, chuck it at the boss. Extra damage for the boss, less damage for us. There, see, person's putting it in the wrong side, so it was facing us. So we all took some extra, and now we got
shoot, I'm
some
rooting.
extra damage on us and that. Any speed runs when you
Oh
get
yeah, we
that?
gotta go down there, don't we?
When you get that ability on you to run from one side of the board to the other to place it in the proper spot is really good. And we are able to fly again during combat. Now these orbs show up again, and I really think this is a neat part of the mid boss fight. In fact, this boss I really like. And speaking of the LFR, I downed him this week in LFR. And I know LFR, I want to be good as a tank when I show up to something. So now that I'm geared, I'm in the 600s. We've done the LFR, the first 3 for the first week and the second. I'm going to start plugging some normals as well. And we'll, you know, share that experience. I always do everything live over on my Twitch.
Oh, this is such a good boss.
And the fact is, I like how this boss shows up at half health when you see him there. That's such a neat transition from here to there, you know, for those who have seen this boss. Because this boss, you don't have to get him fully down to 0. There we go. That's going in the right direction. That person placed that green wave in the right direction, which was good. Or the left direction, I should say.
0, do you?
Yeah. I had a lot of fun running these. There's a few mythics
50, yes, I thought.
I have not even run that. I even went back and did Mythic 0 to practice
Oh
on.
my goodness.
Because I always try to do the best for
Okay, AOU.
the group that I can. And always be improving in this game, you know, always be learning and have fun. And one more
What
thing.
percentage at now?
One more thing I always want to say is remember, you don't have to have everything. It's the experiences that you have along the way. That's why I play the game, and don't feel like you have to have all the epic loot. Sometimes just enjoy what boss you're at, what level you're at, what gear score you're at, and the journey. And it's the moments.
Yes. Can't believe we got it.
The moments you have along the way.
Oh, my key. This one I found easier than the other 2 I'd been running. I timed it, I know. Isn't that sweet? Didn't we? Yeah. So I learned a lot there. Thank you, Stay, and everybody here.
Yes, and thank you to everybody who watched the YouTube video. If you're new, hit the subscribe. If you've been here a while, I guess the bell. I never say that.
Got some gold.
And
597.
thank you all for being there. And for those who dropped by the stream, thank you as well.
Yeah.